Hello, welcome back to Insert Art. I'm Kat.
I'm Alicia.
And this is the video you've all been asking for.
Today we are making our own D&D characters, generated with D20 dice. We've asked AI to create some prompts for us, and we've got a list of 20 different characteristics and
Personalities,
values, race.
We don't actually know D&D very well.
Yeah, we're still beginners. I do a lot of D&D drawings. I haven't actually played yet though. So Morgan and Ariel have already done this video and they created their own D&D characters. And we got really jealous and we thought that was a really good idea, and you guys suggested that we do it too. So if you haven't seen that video already, definitely check it out. But after you watch us first. At the end of this video, we are all gonna have our own D&D character. And this could open up so many things for Insert Art. Like we could do some role play. Definitely let us know what you would like to see us do with these D&D characters in the comments. And hopefully we can get Dave and Jen and everyone from Tabletop Time on board. Do a little collaboration.
Yeah. So we've got the same prompts that Morgan and Ariel had last time.
Yeah, so hopefully we don't get any doubles. So let's get started.
I'll go first, I guess.
Yep, so this is deciding the race of your character.
A 4.
Oh, a human fighter.
That's boring.
That's
okay.
very vague. Yeah. All right, so this is to determine the race of my character.
18.
18, a gnome wizard.
That sounds so fun.
That's exciting.
All right, next.
Let's go with costumes and weapons.
Please be something cool. 10.
Paladin armor and a lance.
It's called a lance. Duh. Reference?
No.
Ah!
It's called a lance. Hello?
All right, my turn. Ooh, samurai armor and a katana for my
I'm
gnome.
so jealous.
Oh my god, I'm getting all the weird mixes.
That's so cool. This one's going to determine my character's moral alignment. This is like the only thing I know about D&D. Pretty sure I'm like chaotic neutral or something like that.
Well, let's see if your character is too.
Neutral evil. Hey.
Neutral evil.
I can do that.
Finally something interesting about your character.
Right?
3 as
Hey.
well.
Twinsies.
Twins. Neutral evil.
All right.
So this is for like the physical features of my character. 5. Polydactyl. The character may have more fingers or toes than usual. Oh, I don't like that. I don't
Does it
like
creep
that
you
at
out a bit?
all. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, I don't like it.
Scarification. The character may have ritualistic scars or tattoos that indicate their past or current affiliations and loyalties. That's cool. I like that.
Okay, that is
Hey.
that's badass.
That's fun.
That's really cool.
All right.
Okay, last but not least, our characters' backstories.
This is kind of exciting.
What made them neutrally evil? 18. The character is seeking to gain acceptance or membership in a powerful organization or guild. Oh, I can see. Maybe my character's like killing all the other competitors or the other contestants just to get in.
Just to get ahead.
Yeah.
All right. 10. The character is seeking to establish their own kingdom or empire, seeking to rule with an iron fist.
That is very human.
Yeah, it
fighter,
is very, yeah.
wearing paladin armor. It's giving like Gondor from
It is,
Lord
yeah.
of the Rings.
I could do that.
All right, so we've got the base of our characters. Let's make some cool art.
I'm excited.
So my concept with this character is that he is a gnome wizard who is trying to get into the Council of Wizards, but due to his extra fingers, they are not accepting him because they are bullies. And with every attempt to get into this council, he just keeps being rejected, and with every attempt, he tries something more and more morally ambiguous and more evil. So he's slowly descending into this evil person just because he's not let into the secret club. So I was really stoked to have a gnome as a character, just because everyone else seemed to have elves and I just wanted to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And something a little bit like non-human.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like I always struggle with like dwarf and gnome proportions and anatomy. I feel like I can just never settle on the length of the legs. They're always either too long or too short and it doesn't come very intuitively for me. I knew the pose that I wanted to do. I knew I really wanted to accentuate the extra fingers that my character has. So I kind of copied more Morgan's character, as in having the freaky...
Dramatic fingers out type.
Yeah, like
pose.
controlling some magic or something. So I knew I wanted to do that, and then having the other hand holding the katana, because I thought that could be really interesting. You can get some really interesting poses with that. And then I decided that the sketch that I had, it wasn't dynamic enough. So I decided to strip it back to a silhouette just to focus on the proportions of the character.
Right now, he looks like a little snake wearing a hat.
Yeah, I started with the hat first. I'm not sure if that's a conventional
No!
method.
But clearly
of
was a
painting.
very important part of your process, the hat.
Yeah, and having an oversized hat and oversized pants sort of made him look more small and gnomish. So as for silhouette, I was kind of trying to go a little bit more graphic than my usual style because I knew there were some really interesting shapes that I wanted to incorporate. I tried to make the head and the torso quite small, and then I could really accentuate the baggy pants that go with the samurai armor. And then he was looking a little bit boring, so I decided that I wanted to add some like flowy liquid sort of effects. So I decided to add this like magic smoke coming out of the katana. I kind of got this idea from Katana from Suicide Squad, who's sort of got like this amazing blade that like captures the souls of all of those that she kills or something like that. So kind of working backwards, I decided to add in the details after doing the silhouette, and that included this really thick rope belt and also that classic samurai plate armor that's sort of segmented and quite flat against the body. So after all my procrastinating, after like completing everything, the only thing left to do was the face. So I decided to kind of just wing it. I really didn't know what I wanted with this face, so I kind of just started drawing and it sort of came to me. I made sure to include like the oversized like hook nose that I feel like gnomes have, slightly pointed ears, and after researching some like Japanese armor, I realized that some of the helmet pieces have masks or hair sort of flowing from the head. So I wanted to include this like really flowy beard and these really over-exaggerated eyebrows.
They kind of remind me of an owl, because some owls that have like
Yeah.
swoopy, not necessarily eyebrows, but eyebrows.
Yeah, like the feathers that like stick out of the head. I feel like that makes him more wise,
Yeah,
which is
I
quite
like it.
fitting for a wizard. As for colour, I knew I kind of wanted to mix the red. I feel like I associate a lot of samurai armour with this red colour, so I wanted to include that. But also I thought blue was a nice colour for a wizard's hat. I feel like that's kind of the go-to. I didn't add any gold stars, so I thought that was a little bit tacky for this really cool D&D character. As for the magic, there is an abbreviation in the film industry, which is an abbreviation of the word evil, which stands for every villain is lime.
Lime.
Yeah, if you look in all of the Disney movies, you'll notice that like a lot of the villains have this like green colour to them.
Yeah, so the insipid makes you feel like there's
Yeah.
something off about them.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of wanted to go with this like bluey, minty sort of green colour, which like sort of makes you question him a little bit, but it's not too evil.
I love how you went with the sort of glowy effect on his eyes as well as his sword.
I feel like it's always like the laziest thing that I do is I just like add a sparkle to the eye and call it done. I know,
I love that
right?
too.
I knew I wanted to keep his face in shadow, so he looked really like mysterious and like dark and kind of evil. So having those like two pops of colour for the eyes felt like really draws the attention to his face, which would otherwise be in shadow. And that is the end of my character. Let me know what you guys think. I need to come up with a name for him.
I was thinking he needs, some kind of mysterious, quirky type.
Definitely. Now, before we move on to the next artwork, we have a huge apology to make. We have realised that we have not been acknowledging the most important people in our lives, our patrons. So in every video, we are meant to be giving our beloved divers a verbal shout out, and we have been severely not doing that.
Severely not doing that.
Yeah. We are so sorry. Words cannot describe how sorry we are. So to make up for that, we are going to be doing our first diver shout out. So Fushu,
True.
Noah Vandlin,
Maz.
Carrere, sorry if I mispronounced that,
W. Thomas Keir.
Sphinx Ackerman,
Inkwaves.
Heather Allen,
Seafood.
and Jerome Goslin. We are so sorry.
Sorry. Thank you for being so patient with us.
If you would like us to give you a verbal shout out, along with all the other divers, please consider becoming a patron because your support means everything to us.
We promise we'll remember to do it in future.
Absolutely. But if you're looking for something a little bit more, you could become a master patron. Not only do they get doodles, but they also get access to a monthly masterclass and Q&A session with us lovely inset artists. We get to draw over your paintings, we get to give you suggestions, we get to just gush over your really cool art.
You get to pick our brain on whatever questions you've got while you've got us as well.
Yeah, art related and non-art related. So do consider becoming a patron if that is of interest to you.
We'd love to have you. And on that note, we better get back to filling out our D&D party.
We've got one left to do, and then our party will be complete.
Yeah.
And then we can go on adventures.
Yeah. So I started out with more of an idea of what I wanted my character to be like rather than what I wanted her to look like.
Okay.
Like I had a feeling for like maybe a personality or something like that, force of nature maybe even, but not how I was going to tackle that visually.
Right. I love
So-
these poses already. She looks like a ballet dancer or something.
That was the problem because like my brain was like, she has a lance. What am I gonna, like that's a huge stick.
Yeah.
What am I gonna do with that? And I used to do aerials, so like I used to do like trapeze and hoop and silks and pole.
Okay.
And so my brain automatically went to like, oh, pole.
Gymnast.
Yeah. It is absolutely not anywhere near what I actually wanted to display her character as.
Yeah.
And like I guess it is a strong feminine figure, but it's not the kind of power that I wanted to display for this character. And I wanted her to sort of maybe be confronting the viewer a bit more, like stare the viewer down.
Yeah, she is neutral evil after all.
Exactly. She gives 0 Fs about you. So I came up with the crouching position I really liked, but I just couldn't get it quite right. And then I sort of started Googling, trying to find like a reference for it, and then figured, no, like at home, I would usually just take a picture of myself doing the pose. It's much easier. You get the right angle. If you're really fancy, you get the right lighting to reference, all of that. So I decided to grab my phone and take a video of me trying to get this pose right. So I'm gonna take a video of myself trying to do the pose
Okay.
in this very small space.
I'm glad you warned me before you started like sprawling out on the floor with no explanation.
So once I had the pose that I liked of the video, I took some screenshots. I ended up taking 4, took different elements from each section of the video to use in my pose. So one, I liked the sort of angle of the face. The other, I liked sort of how the back and the pose were sitting more powerfully. And the other 2 are for each hand. Once I'd sort of gotten all of that photo bashed together, I went over it a few times, just working out silhouettes, just to make sure that it did work the way that I thought it was going to work. And I wanted to sort of just get silhouettes and then step away from the actual photograph, because I know that I will get stuck in this like headspace of having to copy it,
Yeah.
which I don't want to do, because then you sort of lose creativity.
Yeah, we're not about that. I feel like a crouching pose is something really hard to get the silhouette right though, because I feel like the legs kind of just like fold in on themselves.
They just disappear,
and,
yeah.
Exactly. So I really like how you've got like both feet clearly visible and you've got the knees sort of coming out.
Yeah, I wanted to, and that's another reason why I wanted to play with the silhouette as well. I wanted to sort of be able to manipulate that a little bit more to make it more readable. So once I had the silhouette that I was happy with, I decided to start just sketching in her armour. I'm good and bad with armour, so...
Yeah. Armour's a bit of a hit or a miss.
It is. I love medieval stuff. I collect swords and all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
But I get really like in my head about armor because I think one part of me wants to make it really practical. This is exactly how it would work.
Yeah.
And then the other part of me is like, no, I want it to be cool fantasy armor.
Yeah. I want it to be pretty.
Yeah, so I sort of was just trying to block in sort of where the plates might make sense, but then make it pointy. Once I sort of had an idea of what I wanted the armor to look like, I decided that the pose wasn't dynamic enough. I liked that the position was powerful, but it just didn't feel like there was any movement, and I really like having movement in most of what I do. So she got some hair, and then I decided to add tunic, I guess.
Some fabric, some flowies going on.
And I feel like also the idea of like sort of this like gust of wind coming up from underneath her creates more of that sort of powerful figure as well.
Very dramatic.
And then I started trying to block in her form. So going in with my shadows first and just almost carving it out.
Yeah, there's a saying that you should draw like a painter and paint like a sculptor. I think that's what you're doing here.
I like that, I like that. Yeah, I find that this is much more natural for me to do doing digital artwork than it is traditional.
Yeah, okay.
I feel like maybe if I did oil paints, then that might be what I would do with oil paints, but I'm allergic. So that's not a thing in my future.
Oil paints are banned in the Inside Art Studio.
So once I've got all my sort of like darker colour tones in, I start going with the lighter tones, and then I just sort of doing darks and lights until I sort of had like what I thought was enough drama without it being too contrasting.
Yeah, so you're like really gradually adding contrast. I think that's a really good way to do it, because then you don't like overdo it. You can kind of just push it until you feel like it's right.
Yes, as I'm doing it.
Hello, inserting Alicia from the future. Just here to tell you guys that unfortunately during this video we lost some of the footage for Kat's art, basically all the footage of her colouring process, so we do sincerely apologise for that, but enjoy the rest of the video.
Toto, I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
But I sort of wanted to keep the, like within the mid-range, like the mid-drift area, I wanted to keep it looking like a bit rolly and a bit loose. I didn't want to have this like, you know, typical like
skin tight.
Yeah, and like also like I don't want her to be like this like, look at me with my abs and my muscles.
Yeah,
I want her to be like a real person with like real rolls. If you're bent in that position, then you're gonna have some rolls.
Yeah, of course.
So I sort of worked on that a bit. I sort of kept adding highlights and dark tones as I was going, and then I realised I sort of had to add in some things that were very important to my character description, like the scarification and the lance.
All the things that we forgot.
I was really excited to do the scarification, but like I was like, that has to be like close to the last thing I do.
Yeah, it's definitely like the cherry on the top, but not the cake itself, you know?
So I added that, and the lance, which I really should be a hell of a lot bigger than it is for a proper lance. But
I love how you rendered it though. Like you really got that like cylindrical, but it's also shiny and metallic. Like it looks really cool.
Yeah, I wanted to do it, instead of doing it at the same time as everything else, I wanted to do it last. So I sort of stepped away from doing that sort of rough carving that I was doing with organic form. And I wanted it to be able to pop out a bit from the rest of the figure as well, because there's a lot going on.
Also, it's kind of on its own layer as well. Like you want to keep it on a separate layer.
Yes. And I wanted to, from the start, I was sort of drawing this like floating graphic crown on her. I don't know why, but I
love it.
I like it.
It actually looks exactly like the Patron commission that we're doing at the moment, because that also has a very graphic floating crown.
Just sort of like a little like, hey, this is where her story lies. Like,
yeah, it's more symbolic than an actual crown that's like sitting on her head.
Absolutely, because she hasn't reached that point in her story yet.
Yeah, exactly. Do you have any tips on like rendering metal? Because I really like how shiny it looks.
I mean, depending on what kind of metal you're rendering, I suppose, but like smoothness and straight lines, like trying not to use any textures if you can help it, and also making it quite contrasting. So having like some dark darks and some bright brights.
Yeah, I feel like that makes it look extra shiny as opposed to like old rusted matte.
And I did this when I started too, like you sort of want to blur it all together because you think like, you know, metal's smooth, so you should be blurring it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help. So trying to keep away from the blur tool.
I love how sharp it is. And I also love how you've used like the gold color. I feel like it's so easy to just make gold look really orange or really green and like really saturated. But yours is like really, it looks like it's been worn, but it's also very like a natural gold.
Yeah, I want it to be like an antique gold. I want her colouring to look quite regal because, you know, that's what she believes she is or will be.
Yeah.
But also going in with the highlight colours on either side, I'm using the green again that you were sort of referencing, and I think Morgan also referenced in his evil character.
Yeah.
That sort of, because before you add the light, like she kind of just looks like she's a righteous, regal, like good guy.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to add like a little bit of
evil.
Yeah.
A little bit of like something.
Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with how she turned out. It's sort of the first time I've tried this sort of sculpture attack of something, and I've really enjoyed it. I'd love to go home and give it a go on some more work too.
Yeah, amazing. And do you have a name for her or like any backstory?
I don't know.
I think that's a job for our commenters.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think. As far as a backstory goes, I've got like this idea in my head that she believes that she's right. For whatever reason that she thinks that she is the correct person to rule the land.
Right.
She believes she's the right person to do it and nothing's gonna, stop her from doing the right thing.
Is she though?
I don't think so. And like, do we know if the people that she's gonna be usurping, maybe they're the good guys?
Yeah. She does have that like glint of like cockiness in her eyes that are like, oh yeah, I'm better than you. That's it. We've got all 4 characters done.
Do you think we did okay?
I think we did. I think we nailed it. I think we got a good variety of like characters as well. I can see us all being part of like
Oh my God.
some gang, and we all have like our own evil intents, but we're all just sort of like stuck with each other.
Yeah, there's only one of us that isn't evil, right?
Is that Pangolin?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
Thankless is just there like, I love my family.
He thinks we're all good too, and we're all like killing the
backstabbing
king.
each other.
And, yeah.
I would love to see the lot of them put together.
I'm definitely doing it after
Yeah.
we film this intro. I'm doing it and we're adding it to the end of the video. 100%.
Yeah.
So I think only one of our characters has a name, though, Pangolin.
Pangolin.
I think the rest is still, like, the jury's still out. So if you do have any name suggestions for our characters, definitely leave them in the comments. We read all of them and we discuss amongst ourselves, so definitely leave some suggestions.
So fun reading all of your comments too, especially when it involves a character and you guys just like go with it. It's amazing.
In the Garfield video that we did together, I read some comments that were like Garf Toro.
Yes!
Garfield and Totoro. Even things like that I love seeing, so keep commenting them. Also, we are so close to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube.
I didn't realize. I'm like, you guys showed me and I was like, what?
Hold on a minute. Yeah. I think we're at like 87 at the
Yeah.
moment. So definitely subscribe, show this to your friends, share it around because we would love to get that.
If you want to see us like freak out in a video over like a little framed
Like plaque.
silver button.
Yeah. Oh my God, we have to do something special for when we hit that milestone.
We're gonna like pull it out and paint it or something.
Maybe. I don't think I could bring myself to
I kind of
paint
want to,
over
but I don't want to
the
at the same
plaque.
time.
Oh, I'm sure we will do a very special video for when we hit that milestone, so do like and subscribe.
Do you reckon we'll make a D&D character for you too? You could be a little halfling.
He's smiling at that. That is definitely happening.
Yeah?
In the next video, we will be making Ash into a D&D character.
I really want to do that. You would be the cutest hobbit. You would. Yeah.
So if you guys want to see that, you know what to do.
I guess insert art out. Until next time.
Insert art out.